Greetings, my friend, and welcome to this week's Move of the Week, where we are teaching the whole world to be stronger through the power of progressive calisthenics. I'm Matt Schifferly. And this week, we are taking a more detailed look at how to elevate and make safer the classic pull-up exercise, specifically for preventing elbow pain and helping you build a much bigger, wider, thicker, and stronger back. Now, before we jump into what this week's tip is, I want to make it clear that I refer to all variations as pull-ups, not chin-ups or anything like that. It's a page that I took out of Convict Conditioning where Paul Wade is like, we've got all these different variations. Why do we have all these different names? We are pulling up, and then we can just simply say with an overhand grip, neutral grip, and so on. So when I say pull-ups, I'm referring to all variations. And one of the most common hang-ups that holds a lot of people back in their pull-up training and places a lot more stress on the joints is a lack of engagement in the lats or the back muscles as a whole. And instead, we're looking at something that's much more common, which is the dreaded pull-up hunch. Now, the pull-up hunch is where we come up towards the top of our pull-up, again, whatever grip we're using, and we have this kind of kyphotic posture where the shoulders are rounding up. We've got this elevation, some protraction, and our back is kind of spreading apart like this. And what this is doing is it's relying on many of the smaller muscles in the pull chain, like your biceps, your rear deltoids, and so on, to do a lion's share of the work, while also creating potentially a lot more internal rotation of the humerus, placing a lot more stress right on the inside of that elbow, which is why the elbow issues are so prevalent when it comes to a lot of aggressive pull-up training. So as usual, we don't want to just assume that the muscles are engaging and working properly just because they're supposed to be working in the exercise. Yes, of course, pull-ups of all variations are a great back exercise, and they should be really hitting and firing off on your lats. But remember that the exercise never works muscle directly. It's just the application for that work, and it's the job of our nervous system to make the muscle engage properly. So if it's not engaging properly, we need to take the following steps to make sure that's the case. First of which is take an extra moment with your pull-ups to set the tension, if you will, in your back. Don't just grab onto the handles and assume that things are going to turn on. Instead, grab onto the rings or the handles or whatever and actively really contract the muscles in your back, particularly lats, pulling the shoulders down if necessary, squeezing everything in, because remember, your lats are an adductor. They don't spread out, they pull in. So you want to feel like you're pulling your shoulder blades closer to your spine, not just with your traps, but with your lats as well. And that will help to establish that tension in your back that you can hang from your lats with, as opposed to your shoulders or your biceps. Granted, doing so is a lot easier if you have a pull-up bar or apparatus that you can have the height on where you're still on the floor, so that way you can set your tension and then lift your feet off or pull up your toes to apply the resistance. Remember, we set the tension, then apply the resistance, as opposed to just grabbing onto the bar, jumping up, and hoping that it's all going to be set. If you can't even get like a box or a stool that will allow you to grab onto the bar, set the tension in your back, and it will come with practice, and then you apply the resistance to ensure your back is fully engaged. And don't be afraid to use a regressed exercise either. It's often a lot harder to get stubborn muscles to engage and grow when we're always pushing the resistance. So if you've got, for example, the ability to do like 3 to 5 pull-ups, try seated pull-ups where your feet are on the floor and you can get double digits, and you're probably going to get much more control of the activation of your back muscles with less resistance. And then with practice, it'll carry over to the heavier stuff. Remember, pain is Mother Nature's way of telling us that we're doing something wrong in the exercise, and it isn't necessarily the fault of the exercise itself. And overall, all forms of pull-up training should feel like very wholesome, a lot of satisfying tension throughout the entire back, as well as the biceps and the shoulders and the grip, and little, if any, real stress in the joints. So warming up with some isometric or some light rows or a regressed exercise, focusing on improving that tension control in the lats will go a long way at making your pull-up training a lot safer and a lot more effective. I put a micro workout down below in the description, as I always do with these, and I come out with these videos every week. So make sure you're subscribed, notifications, likes, all that sort of thing, so that way you don't miss more of these exercises on building real muscle and strength with calisthenics. Thank you very much for watching. Be fit, live free.